everyone, it's Nikki again. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is actually going to be my intro to my 2020 project, and I kind of threw some ideas out to my husband and a friend, and we kind of settled on one thing. And I was planning on doing like an eyeshadow project, since that's something that I really love doing. I love playing with eyeshadows, and I have a good chunk of them. Not as many as some YouTubers that I've been watching, but I do have a good chunk. I wanted to do either a pan that palette or completely pan 20 eyeshadows in 2020. And of course my loving husband was like, go ahead and do the one that's probably a little bit more difficult. So we're gonna go ahead and do that one, and I'm actually really excited about it because I think it's really fun, and I'll get to like focus, in addition to my pan those eyeshadows, completely panning like 20 eyeshadows in my collection. I'm a little nervous because I do have a few newer palettes that I purchased recently at the end of this year, or like within the past couple months, so we'll see what I get. So I already have my Excel spreadsheet from my pan those eyeshadows, and I have the Pretty Random app pulled up, and I've already entered the numbers of eyeshadows I have. I do currently have a palette that I've removed from my Excel sheet. It's the Profusion. I have it right here. The Profusion Smoky Eyes. So this palette I've had for a couple years now, and I don't want to continue it past the end of this year. I feel like the formula is changing a lot, and I do have quite a bit of progress already in it. I know, like, there's still 6 shades in here that don't even have pan yet, but I'm pretty close on a couple of them, and I'm probably going to completely pan a few pretty soon, especially with the holiday parties. It's really nice little shimmers to wear to those. But I'm going to declutter it at the end of this year, so I've removed those from the Excel sheet so that only shadows that I'll have in the new year are going to be obviously in the project. So I'm going to go ahead and just roll straight through 5. So I'll do this like 4 times with just 5 shadows selected at a time. Go ahead and put them in. It already has a 285. And then I'll swatch those shades, and then we'll do the next round. So here we go. First 5. So we have 139. I like that purple. 101, 46, 248, and 186. So I'm just going to hop over to my Excel sheet, and we're going to see what those shades are. So 248, no. 248 is actually from my Shane Dawson Jeffree Star Conspiracy palette. No. It is the shade Conspiracy, which is pretty funny. It's actually a really, really pretty shade. It's that one right there. I've only used it a few times because this palette is pretty newer, but I do like that shade. Really pretty. It's a little on the light side, but I do like it. Just moving up from the last number to the lowest, like the highest to the lowest, since I was closest to the bottom of the list. Sorry. I cannot get over this cough. So the next one is 186, and that is going to be from the Makeup Revolution Integrity palette. It is a really pretty one that I bought earlier this summer, and these shades don't have names, but I kind of made like a grid out of the ones that don't really have names, and it is sorry, it's B5. So it's a very pretty, like, it has like a nice little royal blue trim to it, and the mirror is like the entire lid, which is awesome. So B5 is going to be this beautiful like pinkish shade, very nice shimmer, and their shimmers here are really, really pretty. So that's that one. And then if you're going up the list, the next one on here is excuse me, 139, which is going to be from my BH Cosmetics Love in London palette, which I have right here. I have like all my palettes kind of around me. And so it's this one. I've been using this one a lot when I go to weddings, which there have been quite a few this year. So it's going to be the shade Cheers, which is actually a really nice transition shade. This one right here. As you can see, I've already hit pan on the shade already. That one is Scone. So Cheers is a nice transition shade. There you go. And then we're going up to 101, which I'm pretty sure it's not. Okay, so this is another palette that's newer to me. It is the Milani Pure Passion palette, and it's going to be the last shade in that palette, which I haven't used this one quite a lot. It's still pretty like fresh, not as scuffed and scratched up as the other one. But it is a deeper shade. What is that called? Late Date. So it's this one right here. As you can see, not touched at all, so that'll be interesting. And it's very nice. It looks a little bit more maroonish in person, but swatching it, you can definitely see it's like a chocolatey color. A nice brown. Put it to the side for now, and then we're going to scroll all the way up to number 46. It's going to be the shade Heavenly, which I don't have in that palette anymore. So I did have this in my Panless Eyeshadows project a while back, and it was just a hit pan on it, obviously. And then after I did that, I removed it from that palette because I wanted to put it in my little Z palette. But here is that shade, which is pretty cool because this one is almost done, so that might be one of the first ones I'm able to finish in the new year. So awesome. I'm going to go ahead and write down these first 5 so I can make sure like I have the shade names just in case I do pan anything in the future and I remove it and the numbers like move around or change. So I'll be right back after that. Alright, so we left off on 186 and we're going to go ahead and hit this 5 more times. So 152, 256, 2, and 178. And I think I'm closest to the top, so I'll just start there. So 2 is Sweet Dreams from Kathleen Lights and ColourPop and her Dream Street palette. Sweet Dreams is actually going to be the shade right here. I think I went down the rows instead of across. It might have been easier to go across with this one, but I went down. So it's this very pretty shimmery shade right here. It's 28. Which is a shade we've seen before if you're following my channel. It is actually in my single shadows drawer. I only have my palettes out, I don't have my singles. Okay, so the second one in this round is Cheers to Life. It's from City Color Cosmetics, and then there's the shimmer shadow that I had in my project pan. I think this was the first one that I hit pan on in that whole project, or pan those eyeshadows project. A little bit pan, it's hard to see with the blending of it, but this one is super creamy, very easy to work with, and it's a great color. So there we go. Okay, so the next one going down is 152, so we'll just scroll a little bit, and we are in the, oh no, my worst nightmare, Okay, 152 is also from Love in London, which is great because it's a repeat palette. However, it is the shade Posh, which is this matte black. Look at that. It's like a black hole. Okay. Here we go. That's where the challenge comes in. Fun times. So I'm just gonna make like an addendum to this project, and if I roll another black, I am not going to add that to this project because one black is hard enough. So if I get another black, I'm just gonna roll again. Okay. So 152 was the Posh, and then we're going to 178, which is a little further down, and that is also in the Integrity palette. This beautiful Makeup Revolution one, and it is 78, so that is a 3, and there's this nice little like pale pink shade right here, which is quite lovely. This might be a little bit crazy. I'm kind of like looking at how much pan is left in a lot of these. I got some black in there, but see, it's very pretty. It's very like subtle, which is nice. Last one from this is 256, and that one is, oh Shane, I'm gonna use up your palette. That one is from the Conspiracy palette as well, and it is the shade Not a Fact. So it's this beautiful like maroon, which is one of my favorites. There's some use out of that one already because I did really enjoy it. It's a little harder in the palette, like the formula is a little bit harder, so that might be an issue, but there you go. The next round of shades. This might be a little ambitious. Oh, and it does stain quite a bit, so that's something. So this is round 3. Let me switch back over to the Pretty Random app. We are on 178, and let's go ahead and get those next 5 going. So it is 235. I'm gonna get better at like writing these down, like a smoother system. 235, 161. 216, 148, was 148 one? No, that's not. And then 274. Why I keep putting my phone down. I do this with my Panel's eyeshadows too, like all the information's here in my phone. So I'm gonna switch over and we'll start at the bottom since we're closer there, and it's 274. And that is going to be in the Opposites Attract palette, which I picked up, and this is pretty cool. I got this for like $4. It's originally like 14 bucks. I picked it up at Target on clearance, and it was only like $4 and like some change, I think like $4.20. But I haven't even used this one yet, so definitely zero progress on any of these shades. But it is the shade Sassy, which is this shade right here. These do look like they're a little bit thinner, so I might make some decent progress on these, like any shadows coming from this. Oh, that's a little bit more orangey than I thought. A little unexpected. And then we're going to scroll up to 235. 235 is from the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals palette. It is the shade Aura in Sequin. This palette is currently in my Panel's Eyeshadows. I have another shade in here that I need to hit pan on, and I'm a little worried about this one because I'm not 100% sure how deep these pans actually go. But the shade that I rolled to completely pan by the end of next year is this one right here, which is one that I've actually played with the most so far, as far as like the sequin formula goes. Sequin formula, it's very pretty. I don't know if you'll pick up some of those shimmers in there. The mirror is absolutely gorgeous as well. Stay. Might be able to see it a little bit better, but like it's very pretty. I think Tati did a great job on. Again, a newer one that I'm not as familiar with, like how deep the pans go and all of that fun stuff, so that's a little concerning. So we'll see what happens. And then we have 216, which is just a little ways up the road, and that one is in the Jawbreaker palette as well, which is currently part of my Pan Those Eyeshadows, and we already have another. Do we have another color in here? No, we don't. It's part of my Pan Those Eyeshadows, so that's why I'm like familiar with it, and it is the shade Cotton Candy. So it's actually right above the one from my Pan Those Eyeshadows. It's another beautiful pink shade. So pretty. There you go. Gorgeous. I might have done those a little too big, but it's fine. It does stain, or that might be the stain from Not a Fact actually, kind of carried over. And then we're going to go up just a little bit more to 161 is the shade. It's actually a single shadow. It's in my Z palette. It's Luminous Lilac from Catrice Cosmetics. I had a little bit of an obsession with this shadow for a while. I wore it like every day for like almost 2 weeks. Look at how bad that stained. Yeah, that's partly Cotton Candy, partly Not a Fact. But this I love. There's actually a really good dip in here. And I think it was part of like an Ipsy bag. It was very pretty. I might actually wear it with that Cotton Candy one. It's really pretty. Okay, and the last one from this round is 148, which is again from the BH Cosmetics Love in London palette. Where did I set that down? So 148 is actually from the Love in London palette again, so it's the third shade in here, and it is the shade Duchess. My eyes went crossed for a second. So it is the shade Duchess, which, ooh, it's actually really pretty. This might help get that black one used up a bit. So it's very pretty purple, and it actually kind of goes well with this like group. Like this group is like a nice like color story, so that's pretty cool. Those three like really great together. Alrighty, so this is the last round of 5, making it a total of 20. I have some like fallout on my phone. Awesome. Okay, so we stopped at 174 last time, and this is the next one. So 244, 187, 66, 12, and the very last one, 30. Whew, thank God for some of those lower numbers. Those are some of my older palettes, so they have some use on it, so it might make this project feasible. So we are about mid-range, so we'll just scroll back down to 244 and see what that one is. Man, they want me to pan like my newer palettes, and I'm not about this. Like this app is again, 244 is from the Conspiracy palette, and it is the shade Tanacon. So luckily this shade is a great transition shade. It is that one right there. So that shouldn't be a problem, like trying to use it all up. Then we're gonna scroll up to 187. And that is also from the Integrity palette, and it is the shade that doesn't have a name, but it's B6 on the grid, so it's like one over from that pretty pink one that we saw earlier. It is this royal blue. I don't know what I got myself into, guys. It's like a little ambitious. I was like, a year-long project? Perfect. So it's blue. I actually really like that blue. It's really pretty. So that one is from the Integrity palette. I have eyeshadow and marker all over my legs. Ooh, that Posh shade really had a lot of fallout, and I got it all over me. So at 66, I'm going to scroll a good ways up, and that is, ooh, past it. That is from my Most Loved Mattes palette, which was very famous in my Pandas eyeshadows. This one you can tell there's a lot more use out of it from that Pure Passions one, because I've had it for quite some time. I do have multiple pans in here, but the shade that is in this project to completely pan is Catrice, which is this shade right here that doesn't really have a lot of use out of it, of course. Just gonna dig my finger in there really quick. And another nice brown. I kind of like that oceany vibe. That's cool. So Catrice from my Most Loved Mattes, pretty famous in my Pandas eyeshadow series, as it was in there for multiple times. At one point I had 3 eyeshadows from that palette at the same time, which was bonkers. 30 is actually a single shadow, and it is this Ella Eden shadow, and I'm pretty sure this one's from an Ipsy one as well. So the pan is a little smaller, which is great use for me, but it is a very like pretty pink kind of peach shimmer that I don't typically reach for, but that's the whole point of this. So there you go. It's very nice, very pretty. I get a lot of use out of that in the springtime, which will be great. And then the last one is number 12. So we're going to scroll just a bit more up. And that one is actually from the Kathleen Lights Dream Street palette as well. I kind of like that a lot of these are like repeat palettes, so I can kind of focus at the same time. However, this one is a shade that might be a little bit difficult to do. It is this shade Mermaid Boy at the end, which is a gorgeous shade, but it is quite pigmented. It is very sorry, I burped and that's disgusting. And it's very shimmery, which is fine by me. Like, I'm starting to grow on shimmers, but like that pigment, oh, like it's so pretty. So it might be a little harder to actually like pan, but I'm excited because I haven't used this palette in quite some time, so to step back into it will be great. My favorites was, like, surprisingly, I thought this shade right here, Water Bearer, I would never touch, but it has like a giant dip in it. And then the shade Spark was like my favorite out of this palette for a long time. So I'm really excited to be able to play with this one again. I have like eyeshadow all over myself. Alright everybody, so that is my intro for my pan 20 eyeshadows in 2020. Let me know in the comments below if you think I'm absolutely insane, because I'm starting to think that I might have made a mistake. Let me know in the comments below if you're starting any project for the new year. I love watching like year-long type projects just because it's something you can like look forward to month after month, which is really fun. So let me know if you're starting anything, so I can watch those videos as well. And thanks for watching. I don't know, am I crazy? I think I might be a little crazy for doing this, but we'll see. Thanks for watching everyone. See you on my next video. Bye.